Welding joint types. Today, briefly, we're going to talk about the different types of welding joints. When you're starting and you're enrolling in our introduction phase 1 of the TIG welding program, the GTAW, we teach you how to do this process. This is part of getting your certificate and getting you sufficient in the process. We want to teach you all the joint types, and it's basically 4. If you look behind me, there is a piece of poster at the back, and I have all information in the classroom on everything that we work on. You can pretty much go around the wall, and it just don't do for TIG welding. This is all processes from MIG to flux core to stick to post, whatever process you're using. I have information in here that can help save you a lot of time and a lot of money and keep you safe, fam, and keep you safe. So the first thing that we want to talk about on the list is buck joints. Now, depends on the thickness of material, depends on what you are welding on. The buck joint even going to have a gap in it, depends on the size, 3/32, 1/8 inch, depends on the gap recommended due to the thickness, or it'll be slammed up right together and you can still seal it up on both sides, depends on the thickness of the material. So when you're doing TIG welding and you're working on, say, sheet metal, depends on the thickness, you can just butt it up together and run right across it and you'll get good penetration on both sides. And we'll work on that. This coupon that we work on right here, this is 1/8 inch. So this is what we have to get started, and this is what we practice on, because this, you can actually put a little bit more heat into it, and it's, it's thicker than 20 gauge material. So you can actually practice on this and learn from your errors. But we're going to teach you how to assemble this, how to put it together, tack it up right. All of this is part of your grade. All of this is part of you learning the process. You don't want no small gap on this side and a big one on this one. See, it's all part of learning how to assemble things and get things done correctly. So we try to teach everything to the students. That way, you're not taking this process and learning it and walking out the door and you don't know nothing. I can't tell you how many welders I have met on the job, out in the field, who tried to skip stages, and then that information that they tried to skip, it cost them some finances because they needed that information to either get a raise or to put them in a better position. So I want to say this, though, to my students out there. If you do not know something, just say you don't know it. Humbly say, hey, I'm not aware of this procedure. I don't know about this technique. Whatever it is, be honest. But don't start a relationship off lying about what you can do. If you can't do it, it's fine, because a person can teach you the welding process because it's based on muscle memory. But it's hard to help a person learn something if they have character flaws online and they don't want to admit where their errors are. So as a student of life, always, if you don't know, fam, just admit you don't know, and that's the best way to learn. So the next step is your lap joint, fam. And we're going to teach you how to put this lap joint together, how to clean it. If you notice it's shiny here, so you want every place, let me say this, any place where you're going to be welding it, if you can, clean it. Especially when you're using the TIG welding process. Cleanliness is next to godliness. This stuff do not want to act right. If it's dirt or trash or meal scale or anything in it, just keep it good and clean. It's going to look better. You're going to get a better performance out of the process. So we teach them how to put this together. You want to be equal. You want to make sure that your lap joint is equal. See, all of this is helping you, and all of this tie into using the tape measure as well, because to me, all of that is part of the introduction of welding. Just the basics, learning the tape measure, learning how to use basic equipment like the grinder, because that's really important. That's going to be like your main tool. I say your welder in one hand and your grinder in another. And I had one of my YouTube followers say, yep, if you're not going to be a good welder, you got to be a great grinder. You know what I mean? So you want to learn all processes, though, because all of this is going to help you. So the lap joints, this is something that's common. A lot of people do them, but they don't really critique them very well, as far as making sure they're getting it down where they understand it, not just running through it to get a grade. I have seen them, hey man, is that okay? Can I go to the next process? You want to know what you're doing. You want to know why they tying in. If something ain't looking right, you want to get it where it's nice. You know what I mean? Now, we understand that the more you do it, the better it's going to look. That's what it is. but you want to have, they always say, always put your best foot forward, fam. So always try your best, prep it, get it clean, and take your time, and be okay with repeating the process. You're gonna have to go over this and go over this until you get it. And once you get it, it's muscle memory. It's stuck up here, fam, and you're gonna be able to make some money. So the next one is a corner joint, edge joint. However, some people like to call it corner joint, edge joint. All is the same to me, because you're gonna have to either add filler metal, or if it's butted straight together, you can just fuse it together too. It all depends on the thickness of the material. But one thing, when you're fusing these corner joints together, you want to make sure that your edges are smoothed in. Take your time, make sure they ain't jagged edges, pretty much undercut. You want to make sure it's smoothed in. That way it won't have a chance of breaking in that particular area. So you want to make sure you got you a good pyramid. You know, I always like to say a pyramid. You want to have one up, and then you want to have one down. You know what I mean? Now, we don't have them welding the inside of this, only at the top, and just use scrap and keep putting a few together until you actually get it down, because you want to get this. You want to know how to tack this together and everything. Now, let me give you a quick tip on tacking it together. I would recommend bumping your heat up 10, maybe 15 amps higher than what you're usually going to weld the material with. And it just helps you to tack it real good. It helps the tack just lay in real smooth, and you're not burning a lot of weight, and you're not taking a lot of time applying a whole lot of heat trying to get it to tack. I do that, it works, fam. It's just a tip that I do. It depends on your machine. You can go up 5, 10 to 15 amps, and it'll really put it in there real nice and smooth for you. Your last but not least is the T-joint, fam. Everybody know about the T-joint. The T-joint has been around forever, fam. And you're gonna do this overhead, you do this uphill, you do this flat, you do this horizontal, you know, so it all depends on what process you are using. But in the TIG welding process, you can do it overhead, but in here we don't have an overhead setup, so we're just doing flat and horizontal, and then vertical down and up, because normally when you're doing TIG stuff, you're not going to be over your head unless it's something that you got to fix or repair. Normally when you're building things, it's going to always be right in front of you, so it's almost defeat the purpose to do overhead TIG. But you can, when you fixing and repairing, or you got to do piping or something like that, you know, you have to go overhead. But the main thing I want to say is, for those who are learning the process, learn everything. It's very important to learn the basics of just your welding joints, the welding joint types. That's just learning this, holding that conversation is going to put you in a position, because at least you'll know the terminology, you'll have some information, and you will know how to assemble this. It don't take a lot of time, fam, but our goal is to set you apart from the rest of the crowd. So our goal is to hit you with a strong 80 hours in phase 1, giving you the introduction to the TIG, how to put the torch together, how to do these joints, how to use the grinder, how to read the tape measure, and do basic sharp drawings. This right here, this introduction can literally get you a job, fam. And it also can help you decide if you want to go into the extensive course. So you have to start from somewhere. We can't reinvent the wheel, and we're not trying to patch an old broken pipeline, because the way we used to teach, it's changed, fam. I mean, we have to change it because it's not working. You know what I mean? So we have to do something different. And I believe not just throwing too much on the student, but giving them what they need, helping them make the decision, showing them how valuable it is, and then diving into it. It don't take forever. Depends on what you learn. Now, if you're trying to learn TIG welding on pipe, yes, I recommend a 16-week program, because you're going to get more into it. You're going to be doing TIG, and you're going to be doing stick. You're going to be understanding a lot of different things that's going to help you really master that process. So that, it takes longer. But something like the intro, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. Something like the intermediate level, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. But the more you practice, the better you are. So here at Arkansas Baptist, our goal is to start off with phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Each phase will be different as far as prices, but we're making it available not only to the college, but to the community. The META24 program, check it out, look it up, fam. It was established in Chicago, it's in Detroit and in Harlem, and now it's in Little Rock, Arkansas at Arkansas Baptist College. Amazing program, and they just intertwined welding into it, and I really, really think you need to sign up and find out more about it. The phone number to sign up and find out more information is 501-420-1200. That's 501-420-1200. I'm also going to leave a link inside of the description of this video where you can sign up and get on the waiting list. We need 100 people on the waiting list, fam. The first 100 we're going to serve, and we want to keep it going. So get your name on the waiting list. I'm going to make sure I leave that link there. I appreciate everybody for checking in, watching the videos, sharing the videos. If it's something I can do, if it's a video I can create to help you in your journey, hey, leave me a comment, send me an inbox, send me an email at yourweldingcoach@gmail.com or joe@yourweldingcoach.com. And hey, let's talk, let's hold a conversation, because I really, really want to help you, fam. So I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, Your Welding Coach, and also the Joel Brown Jr. Foundation is something that I am building this year to establish to help people get a scholarship in welding. So stay in tune with me, find out more about that. I appreciate the love and support. Y'all be blessed, continues to prosper. And remember, fam, stay dangerous, fam. Learn all you can, stay humble, and keep welding, fam. Hold on.